man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the man got that stuff. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard. Look at that, my God.
This is your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. Back at it with another Pokemon Unite commentary video gameplay for you guys, and you know we have to talk about this. And we talk about Diddy, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Love, Brotherly Love, whatever he called himself, Sean Combs. His houses got raided last week. So here's the thing. Here's what we know about it. So 2 of his houses got raided last week. So basically, I'm gonna read everything that was posted on newsnationnow.com because they have like everything that's up to date in terms of me recording this video. So check this out. Over a week after 2 homes belonging to Sean Diddy Combs were raided by federal investigators, law enforcement has released little details as to potential charges that Diddy could be facing. The Department of Homeland Security agents conducted the raids last week at Combs' multi-million-dollar mansion in Los Angeles and his Miami waterfront home. The raids came as the producer faces a mounting list of civil lawsuits that allege abuse and sexual assault by multiple victims spanning over 30 years. Obviously, Combs had denied all the allegations. Now, they talk about why was Diddy's house raided. While federal authorities have given sparse public comment as to what prompted the raids, News Nation affiliate WPIX reported that it was part of an ongoing sex trafficking investigation. Authorities are also reportedly widening their probe to include potential witness intimidation, sexual assault, and firearms violations, according to a New York Post report. There has been a lot of stuff that's been reported against Diddy over the years, like no joke. But let's move on. In a Saturday interview on News Nation Prime, Dana Kennedy of the New York Post said her Homeland Security sources indicate the investigation into Puffy is, quote unquote, the tip of the iceberg, and that, and quoting again, nothing is off the table, end quote. So what happened during the raids on Diddy's home? Investigators seized firearms and also phones belonging to Diddy, though it is unclear how many devices were confiscated. Along with a heavy presence of officers wearing protective gear and weapons, command trucks were parked outside both properties during the raid. Diddy's sons, Justin and Kristen King Combs, were handcuffed during the raid at their father's Los Angeles home. Justin's mother, Misa Hilton, says she has retained high-profile attorney Jeffrey Lichman to look into, quoting here, excessive use of force, end quotes, used on Justin and Kristen during the raid, which she called, quoting again, unnecessary and certainly not required by this search warrant, end quote, in an Instagram post Wednesday. So this past, I guess this past Wednesday, which was yesterday. Moving on with the quote, the force used against my sons, Justin and Kristen, is deplorable. If these were the sons of a non-black celebrity, they would not have been handcuffed with the same aggression. I would probably say they would have been locked up. I would have said they would have got worse. I don't know about that one. I can't call that an accurate statement. I think like that they would have received worse. But moving on. The attempt to humiliate and terrorize these innocent young black men is despicable. Okay, moving on. Hilton also posted security footage from the said, that gotta be a grammatic error there, showing heavily armed federal agents entering Combs' home and pushing Kristen, who had his hands above his head against the wall while handcuffing him. Justin is seen walking with his hands above his head while a gun is aimed at him. Combs' attorney, Aaron Dyer, called the raids a witch hunt in a statement released one day later. Here we go with more quotes. Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residence. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated, end quote. While it's still unclear exactly where Combs was during the searches, Images from TMZ appeared to show Combs walking around and coming face to face with federal authorities at the Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport. What accusations is Diddy facing, and could they be part of the raid? So check this out. The music producer has been slapped with 5 civil suits in the last 5 months. Wow, okay. Once per month, I guess. Each containing a multitude of disturbing accusations. Oh, this is probably the one that we're all familiar with. Singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who had been in a decade-long relationship with Diddy in the early 2000s, filed a lawsuit in New York federal court last November alleging sex trafficking, human trafficking, sexual battery, sexual assault, and gender-motivated violence, amongst other causes of action. Cassandra alleged that she became lured into and eventually trapped in a decade-long pattern of abuse involving forced drug use, rape, battery, and forced sex acts with male sex workers. Wow. She settled the lawsuit with her former partner one day later, but her suit spawned several more alleged victims to come forward. TMZ reported that Cassandra has been working with federal investigators for weeks, potentially even before the raid. The outlet reported that she may have helped investigators establish probable causes to obtain such warrants. In February, and I heard about this one as well, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against Diddy, basically tying him to solicit prostitutes and pressure him to have sex with them. In other lawsuits, a woman said that Diddy trafficked and or aped her 2 decades ago when she was 17. Ouch. Another woman said that Diddy filmed his sexual assault on her and later used it as revenge porn when she was a student at Syracuse University. Some of the individuals who filed these suits are also working with federal investigators, reported TMZ. Obviously, Diddy and his attorneys have denied all of the lawsuit's allegations. It is unclear if any of these civil suits are related to his federal criminal investigation. So let's move on real quick to this one. Could Diddy be arrested? As of me recording this video, Diddy has not been arrested for any criminal conduct, but the charges could be forthcoming, legal experts say. Here's a quote. They clearly have probable cause to believe that a federal crime has been committed and that evidence of that crime or multiple crimes will be found in the 2 locations that they searched. This is big news, and if I'm P. Diddy or his lawyers, I'll be very concerned at this point. That was the quote from Nadia Shahada, who prosecuted R. Kelly for sex crimes in New York. That's what she told, or they told News Nation. What could the raid on Diddy's home mean? Authorities have been tight-lipped on why they raided Diddy's home thus far. Former NYPD Detective Derek Parker also told News Nation he knew an investigation involving Diddy was in the works. The raid that you saw at the house was only the beginning. That's what Parker said. The search warrant that they got from a magistrate in federal court to go into his property was already authorized. The government is gathering the cooperators that they have so far, and they're giving them information, explicit information about P. Diddy and some of the things he has done. So they're taking the information and they're utilizing it in a big case against him. End quote. Law enforcement arrested Diddy's alleged drug mule, Brendan Paul, who was traveling with the producer at the Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport the same day the raids took place last week. Paul, a former Syracuse University basketball player, oh yeah, I heard about this as well, was arrested on felony charges for possession of suspected cocaine and possession of suspected marijuana candy per an arrest affidavit. How you pronounce that word? So this individual adds that officers found cocaine and edibles in Paul's travel bags. Law enforcement officials have not named Paul as Diddy's mule or draw a connection between his arrest and the raid. Moving on with a quote. Taking an overstep or avert step in investigating 2 homes means the investigation is well underway here. That's what Shihada said. So, in case y'all wondering where it was Diddy, basically immediately after the raid, TMZ tracked the rapper's personal jet. The outlet initially reported the aircraft was on the ground in Antigua. It's unknown if Diddy was on that plane though. So, as we know, that spot is an extradition country, so probably not the best place to flee to if Diddy was indeed on that plane, if that's where he was. That's what former federal prosecutor Niyama Ramani said during an interview on Banfield. Diddy was reportedly spotted Thursday night at Topgolf in Miami with his 17-year-old daughters. And then they talk about what he did like over the next few days and things of that nature. And check out this last quote. They're keeping his whereabouts pretty close to the chest. That's what Oyo Coleman said, who is trackside flight a deputy editor for Page 6. That's what Orly said. As much as you can track those things, you can also go to some trouble and black yourself out of them. On this occasion, his plane disappeared, going private as it were. So that's basically everything that we have on this. So I'll be honest, it's not looking good for Diddy. It's really, really not. So he could be chilling with R. Kelly. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So when two of your houses get raided, I don't care how much money you have, you're not in a good standing. The Department of Homeland Security raided two of his houses. Nah, it's not a good look for him. It's really, really not a good look for him. Now, here's the thing about this. Twitter have taken this and just ran with it like crazy. So I'm not saying that Twitter is wrong into believing that he's guilty and making jokes as if he's guilty. I'm not going that far, because the way this is looking, yeah, he's guilty. He's in trouble. That's the way this is looking. But where Twitter like going crazy, and this is why you can't really believe Twitter, is because they want to use this to try to get at Jay-Z. Like it's really, really pathetic. It's really, really pathetic. And I wish I could find this one lengthy post that I saw on Twitter that I thought was just hilarious. And somebody DM'd it to me. So let me see if I can find it real quick. I just find it funny. I just find it extremely, extremely funny. So, because this post is like, it's not even true. Like, part of it may be true, but there's a few things that had me go, yeah, I'm not believing this. There's a few things about this that had me look at it like, yeah, why in the world would I believe that? Like, and let me see if I can find that post. Because that, to me, I just find that hilarious. I just find that extremely hilarious that somebody would go this far to try and basically go at Jay-Z and try to say, oh, he's innocent, like he's guilty of this and that and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, here it is. Here's the post. So check this out. I'm not gonna read the name of the person who posted this crap. So here's what it said. So it appears that Sean P. Diddy Combs is willing, Combs wasn't capitalized by the way, the C, is willing to take the Carters, referring to Jay-Z and Beyonce, down with him. Rapper Jay-Z was having an affair with a woman named Kathy Wright, who was said to be pregnant with Jay-Z's child upon her death back in 2010. I remember hearing something about that, but apparently that was squashed. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But here's the thing about that post. It appears that P. Diddy is willing to take the Carters down with him. That implying that Diddy got arrested and then just snitched on Jay-Z and Beyonce. And I'm like, he never got arrested. Like, what are you talking about? He never got arrested. And what does the things that Diddy did or accused of doing have anything to do with Jay-Z? Nobody made any connections between the two. So that's why it's like, this is like a big stretch. So they talk about, you know, the whole Kathy Wright situation. And then around that time, Beyonce was pregnant with Blue Ivy and then things of that nature. Talk about Kathy. Then they bring in Kanye into the mix. Now, this part might be true. So let me read this real quick. And then we got to start from the, I think it was like the fourth paragraph where they were talking about Kathy. And then they switch it up from Kathy to Kanye. Some may, reading from the post, some may brush this off as a typical no-substance rumor until you realize what Kanye West said years ago while on stage on the St. Pablo tour regarding Jay-Z and his potential killers for hire. Where apparently Kanye said, Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Please call me. Talk to me like a man. End quote. So as you can see, Mr. West is very familiar with how Sean Carter likes to handle people who talked a little too much for his comfort. And before I move on, you know what's funny about that quote? I saw a YouTube video about how, what's this dude's name? E Money Banks. I think that's his name. E Money Banks. He once upon a time had beef with Jay-Z over the fact that Jay-Z brought in somebody with a name similar to E-Money Bank, and they used to be, I wouldn't necessarily say cool, but acquaintances. Like they went to the same high school together, and when like Jay-Z was trying to push out Reasonable Doubt, he would give them to Banks, and Banks would like sell them for Jay-Z. So when Jay-Z brought in, years later, brought in somebody with the same name, Banks, who was also cool with Prodigy, who was beefing with Jay-Z, was like, man, if I see you, I'm gonna kill you, blah, blah, blah. And Jay-Z was threatening Banks. So like, if you're in New York, like in the 90s, apparently you knew who Banks was. Like, I don't know what his name was. But I think it's like E-Money Banks. I think that was his name. Like he passed away. But yeah, it was called E-Money Banks. So yeah, so if he had, now granted, we talking like the late 90s, early 2000s here. So if Jay-Z had these killers, it could have came years later, quote unquote. But I feel like if Jay-Z really had these killers, it would have been sooner than that. So Jay-Z should not be sweating E-Money Banks if he had these killers. So that's why I'm like, is this even true about the whole Kanye Jay-Z killers thing? So that's why I'm like, really? I don't know about that one. Whereas the video, obviously there are facts behind that, because like you can't make stuff up like that. So anywho, let's move on. So here's where things got way out of control, and this is pretty much where I just stopped reading. Jay-Z is also said to be behind the passing of rapper Big L. That's where I'm like, okay, stop. Like, stop. Like, no, just stop. No. It didn't, oh my gosh, hold on. It didn't, look. It didn't get worse. I didn't even read this part. It gets worse, same paragraph. There is another story as to the reason singer Aaliyah was taken out. People know in the industry that Jay-Z became jealous of Dame and Aaliyah's relationship. I'm like, Dame and Aaliyah has a relationship? Like, that's new to me. And like, she died in a plane crash. How is Jay responsible for that? Like, and that's when, stuff like this is just out of control. Like, that's why you can't believe what it said on Twitter, because Twitter would post stupid shit like this. And I'm like, what does this have to do with Diddy? What does any of this have to do with Diddy? This is basically just some loser trying to paint Jay-Z in a picture. And it's like, bruh, without facts, because there's nothing linked, there's no articles, there's no sources, without anything like that, why in the world would we believe a word you say? Like, really, why would we do that? So it makes no sense. And like, that's why you can't go to Twitter and believe everything that you see on Twitter. So keep that in mind. But back to the whole Diddy situation, because there's, obviously this is reported by news articles. So it's not like, oh, they making that up on, on Twitter and stuff like that. There's news articles behind some of that stuff. So if there's sources behind it, then you have to look at it and be like, damn, Diddy. You got to say it like that. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, damn, Diddy. It's not looking good for you, man. It's not looking good for you. So that's my thoughts on that. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New J Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.